This is Ken Barron with the National Association of Black and White Men Together, and this is a videocast and a podcast on the title of Black Crime Revisited. African Americans have always been disproportionately victims of a punitive society and legal system. Did blacks really endorse the 1995 crime bill, I ask? Here in California, I was involved in the initiative called Proposition 47, which was passed to classify non-serious, non-violent crimes as misdemeanors instead of felonies. It also creates a Safe Neighborhoods and School Fund to distribute monies to education and victim compensation. A great move. But what happened to cause these problems? Yesterday, political candidates were talking about the 1994 crime bill and the concepts that black citizens asked for it. Maybe that's sort of true, but let me go on to give you a little bit more background. They explained to these folks that the black, as well as all communities, wanted change. However, the New York Times recently disputed that, and it explored the legislation shortcomings and concluded that, and I quote, "Punitive crime policy is a result of a process of selectively hearing black voices on the question of crime." And at the time, calls for tough sentencing and police protection were paired with calls for full employment, quality education, and drug treatment with the people of color. And it also had a criticism of police brutality, which we all know now is just as bad. When blacks ask for better policing, legislators tend to hear more police, more equipment instead. Selective hearing has a deep history. For example, W.B. Du Bois wondered in his 1903 classic, The Souls of Black Folk. He captured the struggle of African Americans to forge and to maintain a positive identity in a U.S. society that reduced their existence to that singularly alternating phrase, the Negro problem. And during the 1960s, blacks argued for full socio-economic inclusion and an end to discriminatory policing. Instead, they got militarized police forces. With the 1994 crime bill, black communities pushed back. The NAACP called it a crime against the American people. Also, the Congressional Black Caucus introduced an alternative bill that included prevention and alternatives to incarceration. The caucus also put forward the Racial Justice Act to use statistical evidence of racial bias to challenge death sentences. And so, black support for anti-crime legislation was highlighted, while black criticism of the specific legislation was tuned down. This led to a compromise which eliminated $2.5